So I'm going to drive my other computer here, and I'm going to talk really quick about Journey to Excellence, just a quick refresher. All right, so here is our Journey to Excellence website. So this is National's website. Again, if you just Google BSA Journey to Excellence, this is where you go. As Jeff mentioned earlier today, it's essentially our continuous improvement program. And it takes criteria that were developed over the years, over the experience, figuring out what makes a unit successful over the long haul, what makes units sustainable. So that's how the JTE program was created. I want to scroll down kind of to the middle of the page here and talk about some of these fantastic unit tools here. This is great, particularly if you have a new leadership team as a part of your unit committee, or maybe you're getting ready for transition. Maybe a lot of your unit team, they've either their kids have aged out, or maybe their scouts are bridging. So the first thing I want to point out is these unit guidebooks. And so Journey to Excellence criteria are tweaked a little bit every year. Of course, this past year, we've tweaked it quite a bit for COVID. But if you, and I'll just use the pack because that tends to be the longest because you've got all your den operations there. The guidebooks are packed full of all kinds of tips and techniques, really super for those committee chairs and their committee members. And I'm going to scroll really fast here. Actually, I need to make that bigger for y'all, don't I? There we go. Is that a little better? Okay, so what sort of stuff is in a guidebook? Well, we've got instructions on how to use the guidebook. We've got references back to online training that's available for you. And then we kind of have a quick look at what objectives do you want to work on? Do you want to focus on? This is kind of a worksheet for you. Again, more explanation about the program. Here's an example of the actual scorecard, and we'll look at that in a different format so you can see that better. I'm going to zip right through there. On the back of every scorecard is more instructions. So again, you don't have to come back to the guidebook to look at the nitty gritty. There are actual workbooks where you can fill in the achievements as you go, almost like you would sign off a Cub Scout advancement or a Scouts BSA advancement, so you can keep track of your progress all year long. I'm going to keep scrolling here. More planning guidance on how to run your annual meeting. Maybe you've fallen out of the habit of running annual meetings, or maybe COVID just sort of, got you off track and you want to reboot. Okay, here's ideas about how to run an annual planning meeting. Talking about training for your leaders. Here is that great training. Again, I think I'll shrink this a little bit so you can see. You'll recognize the image better that way. This is our adult training requirements. More about training, more about outdoors, recruiting, budgeting. I know a lot of you have had questions about budgeting as you started your new fiscal year on the calendar year. And then the back is great references on awards that your leaders, including den leaders, Cub Masters, Scout Masters, can earn. And again, this is kind of a self-check for you. Like, okay, well, theoretically, what's an award-winning den leader? And this gives you some performance criteria to aim for, and as both an individual and as a unit. So those are great tools there. And at the end here, we've got more about budgets. I sent templates for budgets to our committee chairs and treasurers not so long ago, and I believe they are more up to date than the ones here in the guidebook. The guidebook isn't a fillable one. The ones I sent out were in Excel, so you should be doing that, have that available to you. Our unit money earning application, again, most of our units aren't doing unit money earning activities under COVID. We will continue to do this as a council. A camp card should be coming up here in another month or so. But if you're doing anything except in addition to camp cards and popcorn, you should really be filling out this money unit earning application. Right now, they go to your commissioner. Council is working on getting a website where you can just upload these applications here. Guides to money earning. And then for packs, of course, the summertime pack award, we've got quite a few packs earned that this year despite of COVID. So I'm really proud of you all for doing that. And again, more tracking sheets. So let's go back here. That was a really quick and dirty. As you can see, there's tons of information in that guidebook. Those tracking workbooks that I talked about, they're right here. And again, personally, I really like these because you can track as you go. Let's take a look at this troop one since we took a look at the pack one. It actually does a download for you. So I think I have to, let's see if I pop that open. Oh, you can see, great. So here's our instructions. The thing I always forget is the data entry is actually on the second tab. And again, this is where you just keep track, perhaps committee chairs, perhaps you want to do this maybe monthly in your meetings or maybe quarterly in your meetings. And you can see, you can fill out, okay, we had all of our committee meetings and you just put the dates in there and it will tally the score for you. Let me shrink that back down. So if you don't want to look at the teeny tiny print, where do you find the scorecards? You find them right here on this side of the site. Here's our unit scorecards. Again, they were updated for COVID. And I just want to point out, currently what we're asking you to turn in by the end of the month through your unit commissioner is the 2020 scorecard. Even though we're going to move our charter year to a school year, JTE criteria are still going to stay on the calendar year. So now that we're in January, we're actually going to look back on 2020 and fill in those unit scorecards based on what you did. I would encourage you to then open the 2021 scorecard and figure out, hey, based on how we did last year, are there areas of improvement that we want to improve this year? Or maybe there's an area of strength that you really want to celebrate and maybe even recognize some of those scouts and volunteers or scouters and volunteers who made that area of excellence happen. So I want to emphasize that we're looking for those 2020 scorecards to get turned into your commissioners by the end of the month. This will not only help you as you evaluate your unit program, but will help us, our team members like Maricela, to figure out where best should we put our district and council resources to support you. Where are your greatest areas of need? So Journey to Excellence, even if you maybe this year you didn't earn a bronze ribbon, that's fine. We would just really love the feedback from you in these areas so we can figure out, okay, where do we need the most support? As you know, we have fewer people, we're all working super hard. So we definitely want to work smarter, not harder.